Today's lesson is everything you may not know about Greek yogurt. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Helen.
And in today's program, we're going to talk about a food item, and that food item is yogurt. Are you a big fan of yogurt, Helen?
I'm not a fan of yogurt, but I'm a big fan of Greek yogurt, not yogurt in general, because I don't really like sweet yogurt with fruit inside, whereas Greek yogurt is different because it's not as sweet, and I like that.
Indeed. So, of course, if you're eating yogurt, a lot of the yogurt available in convenience stores is quite sweet. They do add quite a lot of sugar to it, and Greek yogurt is not so sweet. And, of course, if it's not so sweet, it's probably better for you. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, Greek yogurt, everything you may not know about Greek yogurt. So let's begin our lesson by listening to the first part, and we'll come right back.
Everything you may not know about Greek yogurt. With over 2,000 years of history and substantial popularity around the world, Greek yogurt is an everyday part of many people's diets. But how much do you actually know about this delightful dairy product? Let's take a closer look at this nutritious and popular food.
大家好，第一部分我们来介绍形容词 substantial， 它的意思是大量的、可观的或是重大的。例如 The company took out substantial loans to cover its losses. 该公司贷了一大笔钱来填补亏损。再来我们看到形容词 delightful， 它的意思是愉悦的、令人开心的或是宜人的。例如 What a delightful weekend we had in the countryside. 我们在乡间度过多么愉快的一个周末啊。又或者说 Marcia and I had a delightful chat over afternoon tea. 我和 Marcia 边喝下午茶边愉快的闲聊。接下来我们看到形容词 nutritious， 这个字的意思是富含营养的或是营养丰富的。例如 Olivia always prepares a nutritious dinner for her family. Olivia 总是为她的家人准备富含营养的晚餐。或是 I usually have a nutritious salad for lunch. 我午餐通常会吃一份营养丰富的沙拉。另外补充这个字的相关名词 nutrient， N-U-T-R-I-E-N-T nutrient， 意思是营养物或是养分。例如 A mother's breast milk has all the important nutrients a baby needs. 母亲的母乳含有婴儿所需要的所有重要营养物。或者 Junk food can be very tasty, but is generally lacking in nutrients. 垃圾食品可能非常美味，但通常缺乏营养。
So our lesson today is on Greek yogurt, and first we're going to look at its history. With over 2,000 years of history and substantial popularity around the world, Greek yogurt is an everyday part of many people's diets. So the article here is saying that Greek yogurt has a long history and it has substantial popularity. So popularity means being well liked by many people. When many people know you or know something and they like you or they like that thing, it means you're popular or that thing is popular. And substantial here means large enough to be noticed. So if something has substantial popularity, it means that it's so popular that many people know about it, many people know that it's popular, so it's quite famous, quite well known.
Right. For substantial, I could say as an example, when Brian's father died, he received a substantial inheritance. He got a lot of money after his father passed away. Substantial means a large amount of something, and popularity, of course, refers to the degree to which something is popular. In other words, Greek yogurt has been very popular around the world for thousands of years. And Greek yogurt is an everyday part of many people's diets. We should say that Greek here is the way we describe things from Greece. The country is Greece, and then the adjective for it is Greek. I like Greek food, for example, or I like Greek music. And Greek yogurt is an everyday part of many people's diets. They eat it quite often all around the world.
Yes, so it's quite popular, but how much do we actually know about this food? How much do you actually know about this delightful dairy product? Well, Greek yogurt is a dairy product because it's made from milk, and it's also delightful to people who like Greek yogurt. Delightful means pleasant, bringing enjoyment. So I could say something like, I had a delightful afternoon yesterday, just taking a stroll in the park and enjoying the fine weather.
Right, and this, of course, is a delightful dairy product. Of course, lots of people like this. So today we're going to take a closer look at this nutritious and popular food. And if something is nutritious, it has a lot of vitamins and minerals. It has a lot of nutrients. So we describe it as being very nutritious. Of course, if we eat fruit and vegetables, those are considered very nutritious as well. And yogurt is good for you. A lot of doctors and health professionals recommend regular consumption of yogurt, but again, it's got to be Greek yogurt. The yogurt you buy in the convenience store or in the grocery store probably will have a lot of sugar added to it, so you got to be careful. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the second part and tell you exactly why Greek yogurt is different from other types of yogurt.
To understand what makes Greek yogurt different from other types of yogurt, you first need to know how yogurt is made. When milk is heated to the right temperature and bacteria culture is added, fermentation occurs. This fermentation thickens the milk, creating yogurt. Next, to turn this yogurt into Greek yogurt, you simply need to strain the excess whey out. This straining process is why Greek yogurt is also referred to as strained yogurt.
第二部分我们看到单字 fermentation， 它是名词，指的是发酵。例如 fermentation of grape juice into wine often takes many months and sometimes even years. 葡萄汁发酵成葡萄酒的过程，通常需要数月甚至数年的时间。或是 fermentation has played a big role in food history. 发酵在食物的历史上扮演了重要的角色。另外补充这个字的相关形容词 fermented, F-E-R-M-E-N-T-E-D, fermented, 意思是发酵的。例如 This alcoholic drink was made from fermented apples. 这种酒精饮品是用发酵的苹果所制成。又或者说 Fermented foods usually last longer. 发酵食品通常保存期限较长。接下来我们看到动词 thicken，指的是使变浓稠或是变浓密。例如 If you want to thicken the soup, you can add a little bit of flour to it. 如果你想使汤变浓稠，你可以加点面粉进去。又或者说 Smoke can thicken rapidly during a fire. 火灾时，烟雾可以很迅速的变浓。最后我们看到 refer， 它是动词，指的是提到或是提及。例如 The book you're referring to was written by my father. 你提到的书是我爸爸写的。再举一个例子 Erica referred to the comments of a famous director in her news article. Erica 在她的新闻文章中提及了一位知名导演的评论。
To understand what makes Greek yogurt different from other types of yogurt, you first need to know how yogurt is made. So now we're going to look at the process of making Greek yogurt. When milk is heated to the right temperature and bacteria culture is added, fermentation occurs. So we know that bacteria culture is added to milk after the milk is heated to a certain temperature. Now, bacteria culture refers to the growth of bacteria in a substance that contains nutrients. So bacteria, of course, are the little organisms that sometimes can cause diseases. Sometimes they're bad for you, but sometimes bacteria can also be good for you. There are good bacteria and bad bacteria. In this case, the bacteria are good, and they're used in a culture, so they're put in a concoction, a mixture of nutrients, and this mixture is added to heated milk.
Okay, so again, you've got to heat the milk to a certain temperature, and then you add bacteria culture to it, and when you do that, fermentation occurs. Now, fermentation, of course, is a chemical process in which you break down yeast and bacteria and other things in order to give off heat and to create a different kind of substance in what you're fermenting. Fermentation, of course, occurs when we make alcoholic beverages. We're trying to turn sugars into a kind of alcohol. And here, of course, fermentation occurs. It just goes through a sort of chemical change. And this fermentation thickens the milk, creating yogurt. So if you have this fermentation because of the heat and because of the bacteria culture, the result is yogurt because it thickens the milk. Now, to thicken something means to make it thicker. And when something's thick, it's kind of a little harder than liquid. Like, for example, water is not so thick, but oil for your car is quite thick. And in this case, yogurt is quite thick. It's a lot thicker than milk. You can almost chew it when you eat it.
Yes, and next, to turn this yogurt into Greek yogurt, you simply need to strain the excess whey out. So after the fermentation process, the milk becomes thicker. And in order to turn this yogurt, because now we already have yogurt, but if you want to turn this into Greek yogurt specifically, you need to strain the excess whey out. So whey, first of all, is the watery part of milk, of sour milk, that is separated from the thick part. So after fermentation, the milk thickens, but there's still a part that's watery, and you need to take out this excess watery part, which is called whey. And excess here means an amount that's larger than what's necessary or what's wanted. So you can say, for instance, if you have excess baggage when you go on a trip, sometimes they won't let you on the plane because you're only allowed 2 bags in the cabin. But if you have 3, then the third one is considered excess baggage, more than is required. And you may have to leave that piece of baggage off the plane.
Right. So here, strain just means to filter something. You want to get rid of that extra whey or that excess whey. And whey, of course, is spelled W-H-E-Y. This reminds me of a nursery rhyme we learned when I was a kid. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet eating her curds and whey. When I learned that nursery rhyme, I had no idea what curds and whey were, and now I know. Curds, of course, are parts of cheese or milk when it gets kind of hard, and whey is kind of a liquid substance which you don't want. If you want to have Greek yogurt, you need to strain that excess whey away. You need to get rid of it. And this straining process, or this filtering process, is why Greek yogurt is also referred to as strained yogurt. So here we have the word refer, oftentimes used with the word to refer to something as something else. We could say that my nickname is John the Spider, so sometimes I'm referred to as John the Spider. I'm just making that up because my name actually isn't John.
And going back to the word strain, we also have the word strainer. A strainer is a kitchen equipment that you can use to separate liquid from solids. Another word for strainer would be colander. So strain means to separate liquid from solids.
Indeed. So that's how you make Greek yogurt. That's basically how it's different from other kinds of yogurt. The main difference is that Greek yogurt doesn't have that whey, so that implies that standard yogurt has the whey inside of it. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now and talk about why it isn't really Greek yogurt. That's kind of weird, but let's find out what this is all about.
In fact, there isn't anything particularly Greek about so-called Greek yogurt. The term was first used as a way for a Greek company to market their strained yogurt in the United Kingdom. Then, over time, Greek yogurt simply came to replace strained yogurt as the commonly used name. However, this may come as a surprise to many Greeks, who still just call the food strained yogurt.
So in the last part, we mentioned that Greek yogurt is also referred to as strained yogurt. While here, in fact, there isn't anything particularly Greek about so-called Greek yogurt. So we call this type of yogurt Greek yogurt, but there isn't anything really Greek about it. Maybe it doesn't come from Greece. And that's why the writer here uses the term so-called Greek yogurt. You can use this term to indicate that you think a word, and here the word or the phrase would be Greek yogurt, is in fact wrong or inaccurate. In other words, the writer here is saying that Greek yogurt isn't actually Greek, even though it's called Greek yogurt, and that's why it's so-called Greek yogurt.
That's right. That's what people call it, but it isn't really actually Greek at all. The term was first used as a way for a Greek company to market their strained yogurt in the United Kingdom. So we've got a Greek company that produces this kind of yogurt, and they wanted to sell it to people in the United Kingdom, but they had to think of a way to get people in Britain to be interested in buying this product, so they called it Greek yogurt because, of course, if it has the name of exotic country on it, of course, a lot of people will be attracted to that. Greek yogurt, I wonder what that is. So a lot of people headed down to their local grocery store and bought this Greek yogurt. And if you market something, that means you try to establish a market for something. You try to sell your product in a certain place.
Then, over time, Greek yogurt simply came to replace strained yogurt as the commonly used name. In other words, as time passed, people began to use the term Greek yogurt to refer to strained yogurt instead of the term strained yogurt, and that name just stuck. However, this may come as a surprise to many Greeks who still just call the food strained yogurt. So if you were to ask a Greek person, they would likely say, "What do you mean Greek yogurt? I've never heard of Greek yogurt. All I know is strained yogurt." So in Greece or amongst Greek people, they call that thing strained yogurt. They wouldn't call it Greek yogurt. So that's why if you tell them Greek yogurt, this phrase may come as a surprise to them, meaning they've never heard of it and they may be surprised to hear about it.
Right, so if you travel to Athens on a holiday or on a vacation and you go into a store and ask them, "Hey, do you guys got any Greek yogurt?" They might not know what the heck you're talking about. So now we've got the term Greek yogurt, and it has come to replace strained yogurt, and that's the commonly used name. In fact, I suspect that if you go into a grocery store or a supermarket in the United States and ask for strained yogurt, they're not going to know what the heck you're talking about. So again, there isn't anything particularly Greek about so-called Greek yogurt. The Greeks may actually be surprised to hear that it's called that because to them it's probably just strained yogurt.
Yes, it came as a surprise to me as well because I always knew Greek yogurt as being something that the Greeks invented and that it would be considered a very ancient food. So I didn't know that it was actually part of a marketing ploy. But it should come as no surprise to any of us these days that a lot of the things we think came from a long time in the past is actually part of a marketing scheme to make us believe that this food is very old or very traditional. So there are many surprises.
Exactly. So again, we've got this phrase to come as a surprise just means something is surprising to a certain person. For example, I know someone by the name of Mary who's from Canada, but it came as a surprise to me when I found out that she doesn't like ice hockey. Ice hockey, of course, is the national sport in Canada, but Mary doesn't actually enjoy watching hockey games. She thinks they're too fast-paced and too violent and things like that. So that came as a surprise to me. I thought for sure that all Canadians just love hockey.
Well, would you say that hockey was really violent, or is the violence only a so-called type of description of hockey?
Indeed, it could be just a description of hockey. There are fights, of course, in hockey, but maybe not more than other sports. But in any case, the phrase here is to come as a surprise, and Greeks will find this surprising. It will come as a surprise to them. Really? You guys call that yogurt Greek yogurt? We didn't know that. We actually referred to that kind of yogurt as strained yogurt. I did also want to mention that the word yogurt itself is from that part of the world, but you have to go one country to the east to get the word yogurt. It comes from Turkish.
And that wraps up this part of our lesson. And now let's listen to our beloved teacher, Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分先介绍了优格的制作方式，那么接下来他就提到说，要把这种优格变成希腊优格，你只需要滤掉多余的乳清即可。那文中是用 turn this yogurt into Greek yogurt 来表达把这种优格变成希腊优格。那 turn 当动词就可以表达变成、使变成、使成为的意思，它可以当及物或不及物用。那我们就来看两种用法哦。第一种你可以用 turn A into B 或是 turn A to B 来表达把 A 变成 B。例如 The witch turned the princess into a sparrow 女巫把公主变成一只麻雀了。好，那第二个用法是 A turn into B 或是 A turn to B 可以表达 A 变成 B， 像 In the story the king and queen turned into stone 在故事当中国王和皇后变成了石头了。好，那补充一下，如果是用 turn to 当片语动词的话，后面可以接人或事物，是表达寻求什么的帮助、支持或是请教某人的意思。例如 Do you have anyone you can turn to for emotional support? 你有任何人能让你寻求情感上的支持吗？好，另外我们可能也会看到 turn to 后面接了 drugs 或者是 alcohol 等等，这往往是指可能因为不开心而开始使用毒品啊、酒精来寻求慰藉。像 Mark turned to alcohol after his wife left him. Mark 在他的妻子离开他之后开始酗酒。好，那我们课文接着写到说，这个过滤过程啊，就是希腊优格也被称为水切优格的原因。那么文中呢是用 is also referred to as 点点点来表达也被称为什么什么。好，那我们来整理一下 refer to 的几个用法。第一个是 refer to A as B 可以表达将 A 称为 B， 只称 A 为 B。那被动用法就是 A be referred to as B 去表达 A 被称为 B， 所以这是课文的用法。举例来说 New York City is often referred to as the Big Apple 纽约市常被称为大苹果。那第二个呢，我们可以用 refer to something 去表达查阅、参考，像是参考某个资料等等。例如Please refer to our website for more information. 想知道更多资讯，请上我们的网站查阅。那第三个呢，可以用 refer to somebody or something 去表达提及、谈到，这尤其是指简短的谈到、提起。像 The whole thing was never referred to again. 那整件事再也没有被提起过了。好，那第四个呢，我们还可以用 refer to 去表达指的是或是跟什么什么有关。像 What do the numbers refer to? 这些数字指的是什么呢？是跟什么有关呢？好，那以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天单字吧。
Substantial. Robin received a substantial scholarship that will help her pay for college. Popularity. Parents are not sure what accounts for the new toy's popularity among children. Delightful. Mrs. Howard's class had a delightful time during their visit to the zoo. Nutritious. Armando had a nutritious salad packed with fresh vegetables for lunch. Strain. Florence used a special spoon to strain the spaghetti, separating it from the boiling water. Refer. I often refer to my best friend as my partner in crime because we do everything together.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Helen.
I am Roger.
See you next time.